Apostle to the Corinthians. Brothers and sisters, think of us this way, as servants of Christ and stewards of God's mysteries. Moreover, it is required of stewards that they be found trustworthy. But with me it is a very small thing that I should be judged by you or by any human court. I do not even judge myself. I am not aware of anything against myself, but I am not thereby acquitted. It is the Lord who judges me. Therefore, do not pronounce judgment before the time, before the Lord comes, who will bring to light the things now hidden in darkness, and will disclose the purposes of the heart. Then each one will receive commendation from God. The word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
The responsorial psalm: the salvation of the just comes from the Lord. The salvation of the just comes from the Lord. Trust in the Lord and do good, so you will live in the land and enjoy security. Take delight in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. The salvation of the just comes from the Lord. Commit your way to the Lord, trust in him, and he will act. He will make your vindication shine like the light, and the justice of your cause like the noonday. The salvation of the just comes from the Lord. Depart from evil and do good, so you shall abide forever. For the Lord loves justice, he will not forsake his faithful ones. The salvation of the just comes from the Lord. The salvation of the righteous is from the Lord. He is their refuge in the time of trouble. The Lord helps them and rescues them. He rescues them from the wicked and saves them, because they take refuge in him. The salvation of the just comes from the Lord. The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke.
Glory to you, Lord.
The scribes and the Pharisees said to Jesus, John's disciples and the disciples of the Pharisees frequently fast and pray, but your disciples eat and drink. Jesus said to them, you cannot make wedding guests fast while the bridegroom is with them, can you? The days will come when the bridegroom will be taken away from them, and then they will fast in those days. Jesus also told them a parable. No one tears a piece from a new garment and sews it on an old garment, otherwise the new will be torn, and the piece from the new will not match the old. And no one puts new wine into old wineskins, otherwise the new wine will burst the skins and will be spilled, and the skins will be destroyed. But new wine must be put into fresh wineskins. And no one after drinking old wine desires new wine, but says the old is good. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Jesus Christ.
In the first reading, St. Paul is writing here to the Corinthians something about his mission, or he defines in some way his mission. And it is also a message to our modern times, when so many expect that the church and the Pope and the bishops and priests and everyone will just please the people and accommodate in some way the world in which we live. And yes, it will be good, and the church will be good, and will be a success. And St. Paul is saying here that think of us in this way, as servants of Christ and stewards of God's mysteries. Moreover, it is required of stewards that they be found trustworthy. So it is not so much that the church is here, and the Pope and the bishops and priests, that they are here to please the people and to organize all kind of human things and to satisfy all the human desires of the people. No, it is rather to be those administrators, stewards, faithful stewards of the God's mysteries, of the God's grace. And the mission of the church, the mission of the priest, the mission even of the Christian parents or of the godparents, and finally all of us, is to be those good stewards, that we bring the grace of God to the world and distribute it wherever we can. So it is naturally it is the mission of the church, and we know that yes, when we need some grace, we know where to go. That's so when the people need. I know in our time it may be a little tricky or complicated. But so generally, when the people need something from God, they know where to turn. They know that yes, in the church I will get it. And I see that in my even in my life here in Thunder Bay, how many times they called me that some Protestant or some member of other religion was sick or dying, and they were asking me, Father, please say some prayer, give him a blessing, or we want him to go with a blessing. So the people know where to turn, and that yes, the church is here. Not so much to organize things and to do so many human things. It is rather to be that steward of the mysteries of God, the grace and the blessings of all those gifts of God. And it is the answer we should have ready for those who, in all times, because it was in the times of St. Paul as well. No, it happened there as well. We should have that answer ready, that the church is not here to please the world, to please the people. No, it is rather to be the administrator, faithful administrator and distributor of God's mysteries, of God's grace and God's blessing. And so once we define the church like that, we also have to say that as I receive the blessings, I receive even the knowledge and the capacity to do it, I also have to go and take that blessing, take those mysteries of God wherever I go. There is a nice book I have mentioned in different opportunities, and it is really a kind of encyclopedia of the Catholic life and even the Catholic spirit. It is from Bruce Marshall. He is a Scottish author. The book is called The Word, the Flesh, and Father Smith. And it speaks about a priest. It starts when the priest was young, and then it follows him until he dies. And the book is written in a really joyful spirit of faith. Although we know there is a lot of stories of someone who is dying, and even finally the priest is dying. The main figure there is dying, but it does not seem to be any tragedy. It is always with that light spirit that yes, we live for the Lord and we are full of hope and joy. And so in this book there is also a man who started to appear there right at the beginning. When he brought his young baby son to be baptized, and so he's baptized, and the book says that he was a conductor of the streetcar in the city. It does not say, it does not specify the city. The city was prevalently Protestant. And so he was a conductor there. He was just checking, selling the tickets and taking the money from the passengers. But he went every morning, early in the morning, to the garage before they left, and before the driver of the streetcar would come and in some way impeded. And he blessed the streetcar with the holy water and was going around and sprinkling it from all sides. They have a safe day and don't not harm anybody. It is just a kind of note, and it is said even in a kind of joyful spirit, that actually it is what the Christians should do and what we have to do, bring the blessing wherever we go. And blessing the streetcars where the man was working, and that's exactly the mission of the Christian. He's not there only to wait for the check at the end of the week or of the month. He's there to bring what he has and what he is administrator and steward, the blessing and the mystery of God. And it is just a simple example. It is quite a humble work and a humble job. And it speaks about it that in the book it is just mentioned like part of the Catholic spirit, that yes, we are here and we are here to bless. But then in the Gospel we hear the Pharisees, the scribes said to Jesus, John's disciples, like the disciples of the Pharisees, frequently fast and pray, that your disciples eat and drink. And Jesus said to them, you cannot make the wedding guests fast while the bridegroom is with them, can you? The day will come when the bridegroom will be taken away from them, and then they will fast in those days. So it is about fasting, and it is a theme that is really in crisis in our time, and there are so many who falsely claim that the fasting is not more a rule of the church or not more a discipline in the church. And so the Second Vatican Council has abolished that or changed that. It is all lies, and we have heard those lies about the council in many areas. And so what is the fasting in the first place? What is it about? And then what is the order of it? So what is it about? It is just to regain in some way control of our life and to educate ourselves in a discipline. And we see that there is one manifestation that is really striking when we go around. We see so many people that are just walking with a bottle of the water in their hand. And every 5 minutes they just untap the bottle and they have to take something, a sip. So is that normal? Can't we live for some time without just sipping the water all the time? Maybe we should. We should be able to drink some reasonable amount of water during the day. But we should also be able to survive some time without it. And yes, it doesn't happen in this church, but I know even the complaints of the priests who are saying that after the Sunday Mass they pick up the bottles from below the pews, and that they are everywhere. So it is that sign that we simply have lost control even of that basic, of something so basic as is drinking the water. And do we need it? We have to educate ourselves that yes, I take some, but I also can wait until I come home, until I will finish some work or whatever it is. Simply, I have to take control of my life. I cannot just live all the time in that total chaos of wishes and apparent needs that, yes, I want to have it, I need it, and I have to have it all the time. So the purpose of the fasting is to discipline us and to learn, not to starve us to death or to make us suffer, to learn to be well, even when we don't have, to have something available, and we still are able to function and to do what we need to do. And yes, there will be time when we will be able to satisfy even those bodily needs. So it is that taking control of our life and taking control of the needs, and even sometimes to overcome some momentaneous discomfort, that just to affirm that yes, even when not everything is perfect, I am still a full man and I still can do what is my mission. Now, the church was always teaching this, not only about taking water, but it was also about simply taking control of our life and fasting even in other areas. For example, our eyes need some fasting, and just to train them that So we should not see, should not watch some of the things. And yes, it is easy to say, not so easy to do. In our time, we would need at least many who will need some fasting from the telephone and all those gadgets, those devices that are always keeping them on leash, and they cannot even eat without having some of those smartphones beside them, and they drop the spoon or the fork and knife 10 times during the meal just to answer some text message or whatever it is. So we need to learn that discipline. We cannot live totally out of control. And it is not only a problem of education or of some accomplishment in our work, it is also a spiritual problem, because if we cannot eat in one shot, and we have to interrupt it, I don't know how many times, because of the telephone or something, some other thing. So I just wonder how can we say a prayer without the same, without those interruptions and without distractions everywhere. And how can we do some really good work if we are distracted and pending or on so many things that don't belong to the work we are doing. So it is learning the discipline and learning even the concentration. Now I am doing this, and yes, there will be time to do something else, and simply learning the discipline. Now, in the spiritual life, yes, we need some discipline. It is to overcome our weaknesses and to be able to command ourselves that, yes, I don't, not only I don't want this or I don't need this, that it can be that, yes, I like it too much, but it is a sin, and so I won't do it. And we need a strength for that. So it is, again, it is educated by fasting and penance. What is the penitential discipline? We know that in the past, yes, the people were fasting, the time of Lent was the time of fasting, the time of Advent was time of fasting, every Friday and so on. There were so many opportunities to fast. Now there are so many who say that it was already dropped and it has all changed. Not true. So I have here, it is the liturgical calendar that is made by the Canadian Conference of Catholic Bishops for the year 2011-2012. So it is not from another century, it is not from Mars or from Venus, it is from Canadian bishops, what they command to us for this year, and it is every year they remind us and they repeat it. It is about the penitential discipline. The first thing, the premise is that it is the law of the gospel. It is not that a priest says. No, it is the law of the gospel. It is in the gospel. The church wants new emphasis to be given to the evangelical law that a follower of Christ must do penance. While the heart of penance is hatred for sin as an offense against God, external form of penance are required to deepen and encourage the internal virtue. So it is, the church wants new emphasis to be given to evangelical law. That was what the council really said. The council did not abolish absolutely anything. The council rather wanted new emphasis to be given to the evangelical law that a follower of Christ must do penance. Is that clear enough? I think for those who understand English in this case, it is clear enough. Now, it is more specific. Fridays are days of abstinence from meat. Yes, there are always those exceptions for those who are in the hospital or simply depend on others that they can eat, or if they don't have any choice, then they can eat, but they must substitute special acts of charity or piety on that day. It is not that, so I was eating with my friend and so I could not, I ate meat on Friday. It is not, we should not take it so lightly, and it does not free us or does not exempt us from the law. The law is that Friday is day of penance. Friday is the day of abstinence from meat. If there is some serious impossibility to do it, I have to do something else instead of it. So it is a serious thing. Then Lent. The penitential character of Lent is to be maintained. On these days, penitence is to be considered an important requirement of the Christian life. Requirement, not an option or some kind of, oh yes, or someone can do it, that's not me, or I'm so busy, or my life is different. Fulfillment of this duty involves prayers, work of piety and charity, and self-denial by fulfilling one's obligations more faithfully, and especially by observing the prescribed fast and abstinence. And then there is a Paschal fast, it's observed on Good Friday, and continued through Holy Saturday. It is until the celebration of the Easter Vigil. So it is a preparation to celebrate in a renewed spirit and in that new discipline to prepare for the new life with risen Christ. So it is what the Gospel is saying, what the Church is saying. And we hear about Lent, that abstinence, and it is not that, I will eat half during the Lent, and at the end of the Lent I will go for some trip and enjoy, or I will go to the casino. No, it is to be given to the poor. And it has a purpose that says if I spare something, I have to give it away. It is that's where the penance is. It is to do it with the purpose, yes, I can restrain myself and do something for others in the name of Christ. And it is those privileged forms of penance are to be recommended to the faithful, especially during the Lent. These forms are privileged because they are based on the teaching of the Gospels. So it is not, again, not against about the church or about the priest. These forms are privileged because they are based on the teaching of the Gospels. Fasting, almsgiving, prayer, works of mercy, or because of their traditional value among the people of God, abstinence from meat. And then there is an interesting comment at the end. It is the last paragraph of this, it is about pastoral responsibility. Wise pastor will bring these ideas to the attention to their people at least once during the year outside the season of Lent, so that their flock may grow in their love of penance and thus be more faithful in their following of the Lord Jesus. Parish committees should work with their pastors to help make Christian penance a reality in the life of their community. First, that wise pastor will bring these ideas to the attention of their people. It is a tragedy that although this is mandated, it is here black and white. Although this is mandated, there are even priests who say publicly from the pulpit that, oh no, it is gone and it is not true. So it is the pastoral responsibility, and it says it speaks about wise pastors. So those who do the opposite, you can just put there. It's what the bishops are thinking about it. And then there is parish committees should work with their pastors to help make Christian penance a reality in the life of their community. It is one of the things that happened after the council that we hear so much about laity and the lay people, and that they should participate in the life of the church. And in practice, for so many, it is only yes, they will in some way manipulate or control what is happening in the parish, or even just discuss how to fix the leaking roofs. And it is the last thing that they have to do. Yes, we have to do that. It is really the last. The first purpose of the presence of the priest, and even of that parish committee or parish council or whatever it is the building of the spiritual life. And we hear, and it is from our bishops, that they say parish committees should work with their pastors to help make Christian penance a reality in the life of their community. Now, I know that the errors or all that heresy that the penance was abolished, and so it is too widespread, and I know that I won't probably just speaking about it one evening. I won't change everything, but we need to learn it for ourselves and also be again those stewards of God's mysteries and to take it out and spread it. The world may be full of errors, but the world is also seeking, searching for the truth. And searching for the truth, sometimes in incredible ways and without saying too much, but still the world needs to hear and wants to hear the truth. It does not mean that 100% of the people will automatically do what we say or do exactly what they have to do. That's at least have to know the truth. And so when we hear those words about fasting, yes, the Lord does not see the fast as an end in itself. He says that the friends of the bridegroom cannot fast when the bridegroom is with them. But when the days will come and the bridegroom will be taken away from them, and then they will be fast in those days. So it is when the difficulties come or some sadness comes that we be strong enough and be ready to say, yes, I don't have this, why I cannot do this, why I have to struggle with myself, that we be strong enough to not only to decide it, but also to keep it, to have that moral and spiritual strength to follow the good and reject the evil.